Center for the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson about saving, investing, and borrowing money. Last time, we learned about how and why to save. Today, we will learn more about investment. We will learn about stocks and bonds and the factors that should guide investment strategy. We will also learn about borrowing money. Are you ready, students? Then let us begin. An investment strategy is a set of rules and procedures that are designed to guide an investor's selection of an investment portfolio. A strategy is structured around the investor's tolerance for risk and reward. Some investors prefer to maximize their possible return by investing in high-risk, high-yield assets. Other investors prefer to minimize risk for a minimal return. Passive strategies make few changes to the investment portfolio. They are often used to minimize transaction costs. One example of a passive strategy is buying and holding a stock in the hope that the stock will give a good rate of return in the long term. Active strategies make frequent changes to the investment portfolio. They are used to maximize potential returns. One active strategy is called market timing. This involves buying and selling stocks based on what their prices might be in the near future. I am confident that you have all heard of stocks and bonds, students. A stock represents an ownership or equity stake in a corporation. As a stockholder, you own a proportionate share in the corporation's assets, and you may be paid a share of the corporation's earnings. This is called a dividend. Stock prices tend to fluctuate more than bonds, so they are often a more risky investment. A bond is issued by a large body, like a corporation or a government. Investors buy bonds effectively lending money to the issuer, and in exchange, the issuer pays a fixed interest rate to the investor. bonds are more stable than stocks, and they are used to balance the risk of a portfolio. When they mature, the principal is paid back to the investor. Both stocks and bonds are considered long-term investing vehicles, which means that they are good investments to increase your wealth over years or decades. Mutual funds are also considered long-term. They are used by investors to pool money to buy stocks, bonds, or whatever the manager of the fund decides upon. It is time for an activity, students. We have learned a number of new terms in this lesson. Please define each of the following ideas.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. An active investment strategy makes many changes to a portfolio and is used to maximize returns. A passive investment strategy makes few changes to a portfolio, often to minimize transaction costs. A dividend is a share of corporate profits that is paid to investors. When a bond matures, the principal of the loan is paid back to the investor. A long-term vehicle is designed to increase an investor's wealth over many years instead of over the short term. Were you able to define each term correctly? Well done. There may come a time when we need to borrow money. It is possible to get a loan from a number of different institutions. We might approach a commercial bank, a savings and loan association, or a credit union. Consumer finance companies, insurance companies, and private companies are all in the business of providing loans to consumers as well. Students, what do you think might be the advantages of getting a loan? What are the disadvantages? With a partner, think of at least one advantage and one disadvantage to borrowing money. We will discuss your answers in a few minutes.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. Let us examine your answers. One advantage you may have mentioned is that the interest that is paid on borrowed money is tax deductible. This means that you can have access to a large sum without being taxed on the total amount. Borrowing money is also advantageous to the lending firm. Terms and conditions of borrowing are fixed and subject only to changes in market conditions. Therefore, costs tend to decrease while the firm's value increases. One disadvantage is that if prices in the money market are going down, the borrower will be obliged to pay a great deal of interest. Borrowing too much money may even lead to bankruptcy. Let us remind ourselves about the mathematics of a loan agreement. Astaire wants to buy a car priced at 15,000 birr. She has agreed to pay 3,000 birr initially. The remaining amount will be paid over 5 years at 9% simple interest. What are her monthly payments?
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. There is 12,000 birr remaining to be paid. So that is the principal. The interest rate is 9%, or 0.09. The time period is 5. The number of yearly payments is 12. The total payments are 5 times 12, or 60. Remember this formula, students? After substituting the correct values, this is our equation. After we multiply, we are left with the fraction 17,400 over 60. The answer is 290 birr. That is the amount of Esther's monthly payment. That is all for this lesson, students. We have learned about investment and borrowing. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.